here. No, 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 no. What now? Who the hell's inside my house? Alright, listen, asshole. I don't know who you are or how you got my phone number, but you better get the hell out of my house before I... Hello, I am Gustavo Bustago. Did anybody order the spicy Italian with extra stress relief? Oh my god, you! I thought that was a one-off joke. How'd you even get in my house? Hey, that Italian never reveals his secrets. Unless the script calls for it, of course. I have achieved maximum level of spaghetti droid that I am now a fucking teleporter. Well, that was an answer I never thought I would hear. Well, now you know because of me. But back to you. So, I've heard you had a little bit of trouble with your 50th review, is that correct? Oh my god, can I please not have this damn conversation for one day? Honestly though, what's so difficult about it? You take a battle and then you review it. It's as easy as cutting up a pizza in perfect slices. Mostly. Yeah, it sounds simple, but for a 50th review, that's a lot of shoes I had to fill in for such a big event like this that has been around for like, what, 2 years now? I can't just review any battle. I had to review something special for the occasion. The worst thing about it is, I'm running out of things to do. It's nothing but a barren wasteland at this point. I don't want to review any of Infinite Sources rap battles because that's just too easy. I can't do a crossover with Brandon since he fucked off and killed off his series. And I can't review any of Epic Rap Battle parodies or JMB's rap battles since they nuked everything off their channel. I have nothing. I question if I can even keep the series going anymore because my schedule's getting slower, the platform's changing constantly, and quite frankly, I'm tired. I'm just really tired. I don't want to leave this series off with a special that's never going to come to fruition though, but what am I supposed to review? You know, I've thought about this, and I'm pretty sure you've gotten a lot of requests to do it as well. Didn't you make rap battles before? Yes. Why? Well, there you go. That's your special. Review all 3 of your rap battles that you have made since... oh wow, since 2014. There's some potential there, because, let's be honest, all the stuff in other people's rap battles that you have criticized them for, you did the same thing in yours too. Yes, but... reviewer, this is not easy either way. But one choice will give you better results than the other. Come on. Give me my phone. Yes, I have made rap battles before. I've been in this community way longer than you guys think. And I thought I would take a shot at making some videos myself. I've always wanted to do more. I've teased it so many times in my YouTube lifetime. But I could just never find the opportunity to do so. So many documents being unfinished, or haven't even been started at all. So many audios never being used. And I could never find people to do roles for me. That part at the end, mostly because we've been losing so many people in the community. Either loss of interest or paywalling people to get them in the video, asking for fucking outrageous prices that I could never afford in my entire life. So when that's not working, when I can never find a chance to make more rap battles, reviews were the other option. Mostly inspired by Belo's Rap Ranter series. And that's what led to me being here. So when you do that, and you have rap battles that you have made in your channel before, you gotta take a look at them at some point, because it's true. For all the times I have criticized people for certain stuff in their rap battles, whether it's from 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013, 2012, I've made those mistakes before, and done them worse at that. So, without further ado, this is my review of all 3 of my rap battles that I have made. And I will go into great detail on how I made them in the first place. And I will not hold any punches whatsoever. The battles in question that we will look at are in order: Light vs. L, Slenderman vs. Zalgo, and Jeff the Killer vs. Jane the Killer. Yes, 2 of these battles are creepypastas, and yes, they were most likely done before. But despite these low quality battles of characters that even back then were used far too much, these end up being my most popular videos of all time, with Slenderman vs. Zalgo being the most viewed and liked out of all of them. I guess that's the one thing we could consider an accomplishment for these battles. We will look at Light vs. L first. The whole story behind this one is that when ERB Parodies' Light vs. L came out, which I made a review on when the series started to get off the ground, it was obviously not a very well received battle. So I wanted to have there be a battle that stuck a bit closer to the anime it was based on. I even asked them permission to do it, and that's how this got made. Originally, I wanted Ryuk to be in the battle. I even have surviving photos of the draft version of the lyrics, which was supposed to be for Ryuk, but ultimately ended up being included in Light Yagami's second verse. Ryuk himself would be scrapped because making a costume for him would be a major pain in the ass, and back then, I had no clue how to animate his model, if there was one that existed at all. Still, to this day, you can't find a model of him anywhere, whether it's for Source Filmmaker, XNA, Lara, or Blender. But maybe with his inclusion in the Jump Force video game, that can change so his appearance in animated and even live-action rap battles can be a possibility. And no, I did not use a PNG image of Ryuk just to still somewhat get him into the battle. That's just cheap. But I was cheap to play as both characters, as you can see here. Yeah, because only idiots would have only one guy play as two characters in a video because they can't afford anybody to take their place and... Hey, do you mind? I'm trying to make a video here. I'm very sorry, my friend. I seem to have gotten a little bit sidetracked. Oh dear. Anyways, enjoy watching your rap battles, my friend. That was Spanish, you fuck! Oh, and speaking of characters, you want to see the thumbnail for this piece of shit? Bam! Wow, look at this utter mess. The low quality of my camera, the nondescript background, lights not paying attention to the camera, and me as L sucking my thumb like a pansy. Almost as if I just found out what I was doing and was afraid of my future. Can't say I was wrong for thinking that. Alright, enough of that. Let's finally get into the shit. This is my 50th review, reviewing all 3 of my rap battles, starting with Light vs. L, made by yours truly. Play it.
Epic Fanmade rap battles.
Oh my god. This was the intro card I used? Look how much of a jumbled mess it is. You can't even see the word Fanmade in between battles and rap. And every word is in completely different sizes, with the word rap taking a big chunk of the screen. Oh, and by the way, I did not download the font for these. I typed them down on a website, screenshotted the words, keyed them out, and colored them white, and placed them in the video. Isn't that professional? And yes, I know Epic Fanmade Rap Battles was a name Zach already used in his channel a year ago before I ever made this video, but you know what? It's a generic as hell series name anyway, so I don't think it should matter. As for my voice here...
Epic Fanmade Rap Battles.
I honestly don't know why I used that filter. I guess it's because it sounded cool at the time? I don't know. What a disaster this is already. But this is only the intro we're looking at. So, are you guys ready to see the costumes I chose for these characters?
Light, Yakubite.
Yep, this is Light Yagami. And yes, I pronounced his last name wrong. Believe it or not, I have an explanation for that. But let's admire this costume. So, 14-year-old me couldn't be bothered to buy a jacket and slacks that were the color brown like what Light wore in the anime, and instead went with a white shirt, a red tie, and black dress pants. And yes, they are black. They might look blue, but that's because of my lackluster color correcting job before cutting my green screen, which tends to eat out my pants if they are in a darker color. Oh, and speaking of green screens, okay, maybe it's not horrible, especially for my first time using chroma key in Sony Vegas, but you obviously can still see some shadows, pixelation, and the blur around me is pretty terrible. This background, I really have nothing to say about it except it's bland. I do like how I managed to get God rays appearing out of the skull in certain shots, but that's about it. Also, look at that apple coming from somewhere. Did I mention I was recording this in my living room while my dad and sister were still inside? We lived in a pretty small apartment back then, so space was very limited. I thought the living room would help, but because I'm a bitch and don't like recording shit when people are around me, I went to my room, which did not have enough space because of the amount of shit that was in the room and how our beds were placed. My camera was mounted on my bed because of this. Not even joking. Now, how about that hair? Yeah, cause Light definitely had dark hair in the show. Couldn't even be bothered dyeing it brown or get a freaking wig. I just said fuck it and went with the flow, hoping it would turn out good. And it didn't. My hair wasn't even that short back then. It was pretty damn long, not like what you see in my videos today. So, and I'm not making this up, I tucked my hair into my shirt, and you can clearly see shots of my hair sticking out of the back, like I have a mullet going on. Again, professional. So, is there one thing I actually did right here? Well, at least I have an actual Death Note and a quill pen to go along with it. So, at least I was topping ERBP at that. Next is L. Oh boy.
Versus L Laureate.
I still cringe at the sight of my 14-year-old self having his thumb in his mouth. Okay, where's my gun? So, aside from the fact that I'm sucking my thumb like a bitch here and looking tired as hell as I was trying to imitate him looking like an insomniac, look where I decide to place my cuts. In front of L's last name so you can't even see half of it. Oh yeah, I put his last name there for some reason. I don't know why, but I sure as hell know it wasn't a good idea given the context of the show. I guess I had the costume down here and my long hair sort of served a purpose for L. I even did his style of holding objects like the Death Note. But guess what else he has on? Shoes. Even though he barely wears any, if at all, in the show, for some reason I decide to give him footwear anyway. I've been bitching about people not wearing shoes for some of their character roles for 2 whole years now, and here I am wearing shoes for a character that isn't supposed to have them! Am I working backwards? Oh, and look at this background. Just some clouds flying around the place. So when I called out ERBP for making a lazy background for L, I ended up making an even shittier background for him. Well, I guess I talked enough about the bad intros here, so let's finally get into the battle itself.
Begin.
Stop me wasting your time. I only got 40 seconds.
What? I can't hear you. It's my microphone. Yeah, I did not have this thing on the right setting, so you get this really echoey filter to it, which is made even worse when I put a reverb filter over it. And of course I didn't mix it right, so you can barely hear me at all. Could I sound more like I didn't give a shit about this project?
Stop me wasting your time. I only got 40 seconds.
Wait, so does that mean he's about to die after 40 seconds? Or does that mean L is about to die in 40 seconds? What are you saying past me?
40 seconds. Stop sucking on your phone.
Ew! God! What the hell is this shot? Why do I look so dark in this clip? Why does this perspective look so uneven when L was trying to stay crouched on the ground? And, oh, look at that. L's shirt has a logo on it, which means I was wearing this thing backwards. I'm not sure how I did not catch that before I started recording. Oh, and look at my hair. I wasn't joking when I said I had to tuck my hair into the shirts to make them look shorter than it actually is. You can see a little bit of it escaping my shirt in my light clip. I am so glad that I decided to have my hair be at this length from now on. My dad always said that I looked better with long hair, and every time I think about it, I vomit a little.
Stop me wasting your time. I only got 40 seconds. Stop sucking on your phone. That fine like a real my does.
Okay, so I decided to rhyme seconds with does. Amazing.
Always call a wall, rocking back and forth on that chair. You
Which chair? He's just sitting on the ground as we see here.
think you'll ever win tonight? We've a burning your wacky head.
What? What does that even mean? Where was I even going with it? How is it that I cannot answer my own ridiculous decisions?
I got a neuro, I got a diabetes.
Not a bad line, but I feel like I could have added more to it than leaving it on just calling him a fat ass.
This between what means for you, you won't take a chance, you cannot beat me.
God, my flow is all over the place. There are times where I almost get it right, and then it's all downhill from there.
You got the brains of battles, giant mind, do not cheat it.
Well, I was almost with you there, but do not cheat it? If it wasn't obvious enough, this is me having a bad case of creating filler lines just so I can fill up the space and the next line can rhyme with this one. Now, what is that next line, you ask?
Just like your heart, I'll take your potato chip and eat it.
Aw, for fuck's sakes, that's not a potato chip bag, that's a tortilla bag. I couldn't even afford to buy a small bag of Lay's chips. Why am I so cheap with these battles? Why is my focus so bad here? Why did I make this?
I'll take your potato chip and eat it.
Ah, look at that little transition glitch. Now, the thing about that is, my Sony Vegas back then was a piece of shit. And for some reason, it wouldn't allow me to import more files into the project to edit everything at once. So, I had to render one verse at a time, try to make the transitions match up with each other, and then render it all in one file. The result is you get a really shoddy quality and a whole lot of time being wasted in your life. Another interesting trivia, my Sony Vegas even today does not have a pen tool. So when I gotta crop out the green screen and remove anything that can't get keyed out, I have to use Cookie Cutter in order to remove non-green screen parts of my footage, with deeply mixed results.
I'll take your potato chip and eat it.
Light, where have you gone?
Where has he gone? He's still in the room with you. Sort of in the room with you.
Light, where have you gone? Always have a bright mind.
And now here comes the biggest face-palming decision in this battle. L, for some reason, has a deep robotic voice. Now, why is that? Well, that's because I was under the impression at the time that was his voice in the show, not realizing it was actually a filter he used to protect his identity when talking to people in a chat room on a computer. In reality, his voice is a bit higher and he has a British accent. Now, I know what you're thinking. How the fuck is it that I have watched the show, know exactly what he sounds like, and yet still make that huge ass error? Maybe I just hated my voice that much that I didn't want people to suffer through it either. Maybe I did try to sound like him, but it was so bad I had to cover it up with filters as a way to salvage it instead of, you know, refilming it. Or maybe I was just that incompetent. But do you want to know the real reason? During the time I was writing the script and recording the video, I haven't even watched the show yet. I didn't see it until months after I released the rap battle. So, you can imagine how shocked I was when I found out how accurate most of my lyrics were.
Always have a bright mind, but now look at what you've done.
Look at what you've done. Grammar at it is fine.
When the death note has first fallen into your hands.
I don't even know where I was going with this shot here. The lighting is so bad that it looks like my shirt was painted over my clip instead of me actually wearing it.
Ugh, I can only imagine what I would look like if I was shirtless in this scene.
Here comes the story of a god killer.
A god killer? I seem to have missed the purpose of Light's motivation for using the Death Note.
Here comes the story of a god killer named Kira the Dead Man.
Kira the Dead Man? Alright, Netflix. I'm gonna have to take back what I said about you calling Light in the movie Light Turner. Because I probably just made the dumbest name for him in this battle.
Why did you have to tell your whole—
Oh my god, I am so orange. Am I L or am I some sort of emo Oompa Loompa?
Why did you have to turn your whole life against everyone? Your family, your friends, me, Sammy. Why'd you want us gone?
I think the answer is simple, cause he's fucking crazy. Other than that, I have no idea why I wrote that line as is.
I knew there was something up and I'm about to put a stop to Kira.
Well, I hope you're quick to do so, because I put your full name in this battle and he might write that down on his note at any second.
You're a wonderful man, and not the good kind either.
Was I even attempting lip syncing at that part? Hard to tell because I faded out on this shot rather quickly.
You're a wonderful man, and not the good kind either.
Well, of course, why would there be a good evil person? Oh, but he kills bad people. Yeah, but he's trying to kill L2 who did nothing that would be considered evil. Up transition glitch. That's totally his laughter.
Right, I am Kira. Don't even think that you can kill me like that in Matsuda.
Well, I suppose he technically did in the show, but that's sort of debatable when you take in consideration of how Light died in the manga, which was pretty different from the anime, and if those gunshots were even fatal hits. But yeah, this detail of Matsuda shooting Light at the end was something I knew before watching the anime. Everything else, though, was quite the coincidence.
Your whole life is like a chess. You're an opponent, I'm a king.
Ugh, these shots don't line up with the rest. I clearly point at myself with my right hand, but it cuts to me using my left hand to do it. And this is why we need to storyboard our battles.
I'll be the new god of death that you all will ever see.
Oh, you mean this one?
Waka running, I'm about to be the cave by Ray.
Too bad he's not here to do so. But yeah, this part is where the lines were originally set by Ryuk with barely any change to them whatsoever. And no, I don't have audio clips of me voicing Ryuk, so don't ask.
But L, do you know that gods and death love apples?
Oh god damn it with these shots. He's suddenly raising his right arm and no longer with his left to catch the apple.
The end of song was here, I'll soon have this world for myself.
Yeah, keep talking, Mr. Ego.
When I'm done with you, I'll cut your hair off and mount it on my shelf.
Jesus Christ, man, I know you're psychotic, but that was one step too far.
Lost many innocent lives and souls.
Lives would have been fine on its own, but I decided to bring up souls as well, and now it's just sappy.
It ain't starting and until the bells start to toll. You don't scare.
Oh, of course I added in a bell toll for that. Fuck, I hate this video.
You don't scare me like there won't be apples where you are going.
There is only... card games?
You sell others to join your side while I ain't joining.
I will not join you, unless you give me a pack of tropical fruit bubblicious. And some Skittles.
Your death powers not affect me, neither is your toll apple be afraid.
Ugh, these cutoffs are so ugly!
Your death powers not affect me, neither is your toll apple be afraid.
Oh, I wasn't aware Light had powers. Well, I guess he sort of does, but Screw it.
All your plans that backfire, which is what you do your head.
The second you didn't give me that pack of Skittles, I knew very well shit was gonna go down.
We have our own now. You'll never be seen again. You think you won, this fight was over before it even began.
And I wish it was over before it started. Now I get to enjoy myself doing the grinding dance. Huzzah! Oh, nice. I actually linked ERBP's own Lights vs. L video here. Almost like I'm saying, hey audience, here's something that's less garbage. Now, let's talk about this beat you are hearing right now. I actually made it myself quite a while ago. You can even find the original video on my channel. The tempo is much slower than what you hear in the battle, but it's pretty much the same. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. What the fuck is DJ Lost? Was there someone else that did this song for me and this was my way to credit them? Well, folks, this is quite a long story. You see...
What the 70s hell's going on here? Who the fuck are you? Oh, you did not just say that, did you? You don't know me? You don't know me? Well, I mean, I'm sure your viewers might not know who I am, but I know that you know me as much as I know you. Okay, enough gibberish. What are you, some sort of hipster businessman? A hipster businessman? Are you blind or something? I'm Dexter Dennison, bitch! Oh my god. Oh yeah, it's all coming back now, isn't it? Remember Free Guys 1 video? That whole plan you up and abandoned shortly after I made that video I spent so hard on making? Yeah, I remember what my old username was, but I don't see how that has to do with you breaking into my fucking house! I've been here this whole time, you just never realized it. But after you brought up who DJ Lost is and the history behind it, which involves me, it feels like a breath of fresh air and I feel like I'm visible again! Or was I always visible and you just kept ignoring me? Okay, that was a lot for me to register, but what's the problem? Why'd you come in here so angry? Why? Because I put a whole lot of work into that video I did back in 2013. That how to dress like a man or whatever, some shit like that. I literally took off my clothes, put on your dirty ass lingerie, I turned your fucking shirt to a sunny cowgirl outfit, I danced around like a man would do at a gay bar. Yeah, run on me down, boy! I scared your mother out of the room when she saw the video. I did all of that. And you just took it off the internet. That's because it was bad and nobody liked it. It made me realize that the whole Free Guys 1 video plan just wasn't that good of an idea. But at least I found something like this to make up for all the garbage content I made back in 2014. I don't believe that for 1 second. You tell me one good thing that has happened to your channel after you up and abandoned me. Alright, let's see. I have made 3 rap battles that are the most popular videos on my channel, ranking up to 30 to 40,000 views in total. And then I went on to making this review series, which in its lifetime has garnered me nearly over 100,000 views and 600 new subscribers. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty fucking good without you guys. We could have been something bigger though. We had a bright future ahead of us to become something more than what we are now. We could have been successful, man. You are nothing without me. Do you hear me? Yeah, whatever, Dexter Dildosin. Listen, I have a review to do. So if you could get the hell out of my room and not bother me again, that would be very much appreciated. You'll see, reviewer. You'll see. When your entire series fails again, you're gonna be crawling back to me! Remind me to lock these doors whenever I start recording these videos. Yo, are you forgetting about me, son? course, who the fuck is it now?
Yo, 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 it's your boy with the Joy Axel cashback with $1. And that DJ Waka, my good fans, is yours truly.
Oh yeah, you were part of that Free Guys 1 video plan. Making really shitty songs.
Oh, you did not just call my baby shit. They are lit AF as fuck. You catch my drift, homie?
No! Your songs got progressively worse as time went on, and they're not even songs that you make. You just took already existing popular songs and remade them, and poorly remade them at that. Same shit like, let's get this to 1,000 likes, and yet at the same time, you put Eiffel 65 and Vocaloid together? Fuck you, Vocaloid! You fucking degenerate! Your ego has gone so big and your music has become such an ear rape to listen to, and that's why I pulled a plug on your... I can't say that.
Oh, but you little white boy can't say bad shit to me because he's a pussy! Man, you're just as thin-skinned as you were 5 years ago!
Well, can you just shut the fuck up and get out of my room already? I have to record something.
Hell no, you can't tell me what to do. There's only a handful of people I can do what they tell me. And as we all know, I don't listen to or like being around baby white crackers like you.
Oh, that's real rich given who I'm talking to right now.
My point is, I can do and say whatever the goddamn hell I want, and you can't stop me!
So you can say whatever you want, huh?
Yeah.
Alright, fine. Say it then.
Say what? That you're a little bitch?
No. Say the N-word.
I'm sorry, what?
You heard me. You said you could say whatever you want, so I'm gonna challenge you on that. Go on, say it. Whether it's the soft A or the hard R, I don't care. Actually, you know what? Do both, and do it as loudly as you can. I'm sure the neighbors would love to hear that, so go on. Do it!
Alright, listen, dog, I ain't that kind of guy to do that. I'm gonna get going now.
Thank you.
But Dexter's right. You are nothing without us. You'll see, homie. You're gonna be asking me for more music, and we'll go on tour with so many rappers, and you'll see what real fame looks like. You hear me, dog?
And that is the story of why I changed my YouTube name.
Next up is Slenderman vs. Zalgo, released in December of 2014. Let's take a look at this thumbnail to see what it has to show. Oh boy. It looks like half the thumbnail was blacked out and you can only see Slenderman. But that big block of darkness you see on the right, that's actually Zalgo. I couldn't even be bothered to brighten the image up a bit so it can be easier to see the two. Alright, enough of that. Let's get into the battle. Well, the title is just the same as we all expected. A complete jumble mess. Although this time the beat was not made by me and my mic's quality sounds even worse than the previous battle. Also, the intro to the beat takes 13 seconds to where the characters will be introduced. So guess what I did? I let the entire thing play after I said the title. Add that to the list of rap battle things I have done in my own videos that I have criticized people for. Oh, Jesus God, this shot here is so bad. So fuzzy, so blurry, so ass. I think my costume here is the only highlight of this intro. I did seem to have everything down. Got the tie, the suit, the shoes, and the mask, even if you can see my face and a little bit of my neck in certain spots. I don't exactly know where he is. I guess this is a forest, but the tone and colors doesn't really match with how Slenderman looks. But what about Zalgo? What did I do for him?
Versus Zalgo.
What the fu- This was my costume for Zalgo? It's not even a costume. Can you guys guess exactly what it is? Oh god, I can't believe I have to put my own tag on myself. So, I got this graffiti jacket on, jeans where its color is really blown out, and a Dracula cape, and also I'm red here, and that's supposed to make me look like a monster. Guys, can you come back? I changed my mind. I don't want to do this anymore.
You're on your own with this one, boy. See ya, jackass.
Well, thanks, asshole. Oh, this is never going to end. Wait. Didn't I just lock the door? I don't like that game. Can we play Russian roulette instead? Well, I have sort of an idea who will win, because it was written by me. Good God, I can barely see Zalgo in this shot. Just goes to show you that darkness isn't always good. That sounded really awful. Dark lighting. There we go. Using dark lighting for these battles isn't always good. I thought I was playing Slenderman in this battle, not Frenzy. What even is this? Let's ignore the fact that my head is getting cut off here and there, but what was going through my mind to place two Slenderman all around his body? Was I trying to imitate the tendrils or something? Oh, look at that. It's me. What's my purpose of being here? Okay, that was a lot to take in. First, my out-of-focus ass looks at the camera, then Slenderman snaps my neck, then I clearly hold myself from falling onto the ground too hard and Slenderman suddenly disappears from that shot, only to reappear in the next shot as my dead, overly contrasted ass falls to the ground, getting the top part of my head cut off from the workspace along with showing a little bit of my room due to the green screen moving. And yet, somehow, these guys thought I would be perfect to film and edit their music videos. That's sad. Oh, by the way, you can watch their newest music video coming on September 19th, and you can buy their other album on the 21st. Or the 20th, I don't remember. I'll put the links in the description below. Give them support. This promotion sucks ass. Oh, sweet! Does that mean I can die now? Slenderman? Slender, you there? I need you. He's not coming, is he? I feel like that voice would have worked better if I, didn't look like that. I ask myself the same thing every time I watch this. I don't even know what the point of this shot is. Huh. Maybe I really am playing Frenzy in this battle. These double shots of Zalgo aren't even looking at the camera. almost like they're embarrassed to be seeing this video. White Noise isn't actually a spin-off, but more like inspired by the Slenderman games, given the premise of collecting 8 items and being stalked by a faceless monster are pretty much the same. But I wouldn't say his games are bad. They don't hold up very well now, but they ain't bad. Of course we had to point out that PewDiePie was his reason of fame, cause that's an original thing to say in 2019. Yeah, cause nothing screams real encounters like an asshole wearing a pillowcase on his head and stalking kids around in parks and houses just to get a reaction out of them. Or at least that's what I did when I was 12. Oh, I hate my childhood. That line made it sound like the comic books themselves caught him when it actually was supposed to mean the comic books are the only medium people caught him in. Whereas Slenderman had many document series that made it out as if he actually existed at some point. Oh god, that workspace cutoff is getting worse the more times I see it. I know what you're thinking, and no, that is not foreshadowing the next battle. It is only a coincidence that I decided to have Jeff and Jane be the lineup for the next video. Yeah, as you can hear from this, I am not able to read the entire lines to fit it in with the beat. Or I don't say some of the words at all. Add that to the list. Really, that's the only cool looking shot in this entire battle, and it's the one I recycle for the damn intro. More like a shitty preset static filter used in Sony Vegas. Ha! Hilarious! That's so funny! I'm laughing! Ha ha ha! You know, there are some lines in this thing that I still think are good, but would have been better had I took more time writing it. These lines in between the end and middle of his second verse are probably good examples of how I could have expanded the ideas more. Okay, so we all know that line people use for Slenderman when they want to bring up his static reference, mostly when the battle is over, and how they have to rhyme static with had it, and of course do a poor man's job at trying to have it make some sort of sense for it to be used at all. I decided to do the opposite and use different words for the second to last line that doesn't rhyme at all with static. Incredible. Ugh, now that is a bad shot if I ever seen one. He's so dark you can barely see his head. Ugh, this fucking transition. Okay, that sounds not good. Well, some of them do, but yeah, you think Slenderman would have made sure his recruits weren't so easy to get killed. Wait, have we seen a creepypasta character die at some point? Well, yeah, that's the whole point. You don't just take them to hell and play checkers with them and call it a day. Why was this line here? Ah, ah, ah. Oh god, this sucked! And if that wasn't bad enough, for some reason, just because it was getting popular at the time, I decided to put a Five Nights at Freddy's laughter in the outro, as you can hear it in this.
Up next.
How amazing. I'm actually surprised I got somebody to do the lyrics for me. I'm sorry, Alex, I should have never gotten you involved in this mess. But wait, there's one more thing left to show before we end it here. I actually teased a sequel for this battle, which will probably never happen. Some of you guys might think that reviewing your own battles is like it's a cakewalk. You can believe that. But trust me, when you have to sit through all that shit that you have done, all those stupid ideas you have thought up and actually put it in a video and release it to the public, it's a lot more difficult than you think. Okay. We have one more battle to get through before we finally close the special off. So, let's just sack up and get to it. The last battle is Jeff the Killer versus Jane the Killer, released months after Slenderman versus Zalgo. So this one I actually decided to take a little bit more time with, working on the lyrics, figuring out where exactly to record it, which would now be in the living room, and of course finding other people to do some roles. So let me introduce you to my sister, who is playing Jane the Killer in this battle. Now, let me make one thing clear. Mia is not a singer, nor is she an actor, nor is she a rapper. I was the one who guided her through everything in this battle. I let her know what parts to act, what actions she needs to perform in said specific parts, and how to rap. It was all done by me, and me only. So, if you want to place the blame on anybody for her lackluster performance, it should be me. Because, boy, did I not do her justice in this video. So, without further ado, let's begin.
Epic Fanmade rap battles.
Oh, would you look at that? I finally managed to fix the title after all those months, and now you can properly see it say Epic Rap Fanmade Battles. Mostly fixed. But there's one more thing I should address about this battle before we get into everything else. And it can be summarized in just one word and one action. What? So, for some reason, Vegas screwed up on the volume mixing and made everything really quiet. So many people who watched this battle had to jack up their speakers just to hear it. And I didn't figure that out until the video was already published, because I got speakers that go up quite a bit, and on my end, it sounded fine. So if you ever want to watch the original battle, well, I just hope your speakers aren't potatoes. But like I do with other battles that have really unbalanced mixing, I will fix it for you guys here. You're welcome.
Jane the Killer.
Here is Jane the Killer, sporting a purple jacket and a white mask. So we need to explain some things about this Jane. It's sort of a mix of her The Killer version and her Everlasting version. Or at least that's what we thought back then. Apparently, Everlasting and Gene the Killer are the same versions but have their appearances altered by a lot. And I bet you don't recall any version of Jane wearing whatever this knockoff female Slenderman outfit is. We did not understand creepypastas much back then. And we were constantly watching stories about them, so what the hell? Oh, and this background. I think she's on a mountain of sorts near a forest. I don't exactly know what this is supposed to be, and I'm the one who put it together.
Versus Jeff the Killer.
Wow, Nicky Bombastic, are you fucking retardo? That isn't Jeff in that video, what the fuck?
Stop. I am very well aware that's not Jeff. It's his pre-burned version of him. Because I thought that it would be cool to show his transformation somehow. Maybe it would have been cool if it wasn't done in such a half-assed way as we will see later in the video. But I like that his lighting doesn't match with the dark room he is in. And boy, does he have a lot of fuzz in his jacket.
Begin.
It's about time that we meet once again.
Oh, but raising up the volume isn't going to fix the bad mixing where you can barely hear her.
It's about time that we meet once again.
Except you're gonna have to take our word for it. And no, she's not referring to epic rap battles of creepypasta.
Now it's time for me to attack and have this eternal pain end.
I will kill the person who made this battle and put me in it, and maybe I'll finally get some peace.
You're what I loathe about Jeff. Your entire life is dead to me.
You know, I think this battle might have better lyrics out of the other two ones I just reviewed. In fact, you may have just realized I don't talk about the lyrics that much because what is there for me to say? I don't think I've written them so poorly as much as I like to think. I didn't try that much with these battles. Or, who knows, maybe I'm just biased. Or retarded.
Now let me bleach and burn this little brat that you have used to be.
Oh god, look at that fire. Look at that low-ass frame rate, choppy-as fuck fire. And what the hell did Jane do here? Shoot a fireball out of her hand like Super Mario?
Here we go!
I feel so cold, so hurt.
Mr. Jeff the Killer, I don't feel so good.
Don't you feel the same? Beating you will be so fun, just like I beat you at your own game.
And here comes the transformation. Like I said, it would have looked cooler had it not looked so sloppy. Also, that game talk she says in her line, that's gonna be a recurring word in this battle. And I don't know why we didn't catch that before finishing the script.
Like I beat you at your own game. When the moon starts shining
Yo, she just went full on Naruto on his ass.
at your own game. When the moon starts shining,
But the moon is already there.
better have your guard right. We're going to have lots of fun.
Ew, that's gross, Jeff. Do you know where that knife has been in?
But for you, it will not be pretty.
Jay, how long before you two think you're on the top to finish?
And here is my debut as Jeff the Killer, where I started to get typecast to hell as that character. It would go on for so long until I finally said, alright, you know what, I'm done with this character in J&B's Slenderman vs. Jeff the Killer. And no, I will never play as Jeff the Killer again, so don't ask. But I think it's funny that with all the roles I took as Jeff from other channels, this is the only one where I use my own voice. In all other battles, somebody had to dub over me so they can do a poor man's version of Mark Hamill's Joker. Do people just not like my voice? Huh? Is that it? Is that it? Huh? Is that it? Do you not like my voice, guys? Do you?
Jay, how long before you two think you're on the top to finish? But you're always on the bottom, maybe that's how it should be.
Started from the top and now we're at the bottom?
You've been basing off of every single action I've been having.
Well, that line was poorly phrased. What context was I even going for with that?
You say you're popular, but your story wasn't so very everlasting.
Oh, a mildly stinging burn.
This isn't a game that you're playing. You do not know what you're saying, Jake. This will end like a film and leave your body in the flame.
Well, at least I got most of that rhyme scheme down. But the flames still look like shit. He says wig even though that's her real hair. Aren't you a smart little bitch?
You should be free, just like me, always smiling and never playing. You should be free, just like me, always smiling and never playing.
Except the times where you are clearly blinking. And I don't give a shit if I didn't stick to him not having eyelids and never blinking for the video. That's a waste of my time, and it's not good for my eyes either, especially when you have a bunch of lights around you.
Go away and take your breather, you're starting to get sleepy. I'll be there to make my count and it'll be very well you see.
Ugh, I feel gross just from listening to you.
I make attacks on the streets, murdering every civilian. How can you call yourself a killer if you never kill one person?
Well, she is trying to kill you, so that would make her a killer. Also, yeah, civilian person, I know, ridiculous.
I make attacks on the streets, murdering every civilian. How can you call yourself a killer if you never kill one person?
Did I also mention that Jeff has the most lines out of Jane? In total, Jane has 16 lines and Jeff has 28 lines. That's twice the amount of the lines that Jane would have gotten. But instead, I just gave her the traditional 16, making this a very imbalanced battle. And these amount of lines make this the longest battle out of the rest, clocking in at 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Well, actually, it's 2 minutes and 48 seconds. We'll get there.
I'm dark and cold-hearted. I ignore too much story.
More like rom-coms if you think about it. Jane's kind of a slut.
You've been torn, shredded to pieces.
Oh god, the fuzz on her mask is awful. It's like she got a bit of Slenderman static stuck to her face.
You've been torn, shredded to pieces by fans from your series.
Well, yeah. Have you seen the fan art? No? Good.
I tried all I can to help you out with everything. But that was such a mistake. Why did you have to betray me?
Because... crazy.
My anger is rising. You will regret for what you did.
Oh god, what the fuck is this filter? This is supposed to show her rage rising, huh? Ugh, you can't even see her with this filter. It's like I'm looking at a blurry mannequin of sorts.
Let me take out this constant smile and sleepless little kid. Every story needs an ending to let me make mine. You will not be living any longer when you look into my eyes.
Oh god, no, please don't do the Zalgo thing again!
It's so pathetic, Jane. I didn't need you to help me. Yes, you tried all you can, but you couldn't save me from the part.
Oh yeah, cause she certainly was there when it all went down. Now we're just getting into contrived territory.
Your anger is rising. I'll believe it when I see it.
Bitch, you are seeing it. Kind of.
Crying in the car, get back up. Now let's finish this.
What was I even accomplishing with that part? Giving him white eyes and all that? Ugh, I hate this.
I'm the infamous villain, this most insane serial killer, making William this just enough to make your body shiver.
That is probably the best line I have made out of all these battles.
I'm the infamous villain, this most insane serial killer, making William this just enough to make your body shiver.
Well, I guess I can say this. At least I didn't rhyme killer with Thriller.
I'll break into your room, take your face and burn it up.
Jesus, Jeff. We don't have to go too crazy.
This fight will be violent, like my bra from the bus stop.
Except I'm just gonna keep rapping, cause I'm lazy and we can't film a fight scene like this either.
talk about a boy who's always been hurting a girl, trying to help him, but she ends up like the boy, all burned in shame, turning insane, and try to find her tell one of the babes are gay. Do you feel defeated now, Jane?
Man, that was the shittiest audiobook I have ever heard in my life.
And try to find her tell one of the babes are gay. Do you feel defeated now, Jane?
No, but I can feel that cutoff on your back.
It's getting quiet, you're getting tired, but I'm still looking for more. When you open up your eyes, you'll be seeing me at your door.
Enjoy your sleep paralysis while you're at it.
Game over, dedication of killing me has fallen deep. I'll drop the knife way back in bed and go to sleep.
Ah, you thought we would never drop that line in this battle, huh? Oh, and look at that. I accidentally wrote down who won. As in the number 1. Instead of WON because I confused my words that much. Oh, and look, people actually suggested this battle too. I feel sorry for you guys. And after my title gets killed by something, we are treated with an outro sequence that lasts for a whole fucking minute. Nothing else happens, nothing exciting shows up at the end, it's just these 3 guys dancing like total idiots as we use up the entirety of this song, and we finally end this review of all my rap battles. But you know what? I am glad. I am glad that I finally sat down on this chair and reviewed all of my battles after stalling for so long. And you know what else? I'm not gonna rate them. Wanna know why? Because I want you guys to be the judge. I want you to tell me what you thought about my rap battles and what you saw in them. Whether it's the costumes, the lyrics, the green screens, the editing, the audios, the pretty much anything that were in them. Because why should you have to follow what I say about my or someone else's battles? I am not your voice. I am just a guy talking about what I think about rap battle and wanting to hear what you guys thought about the battle. Because for every video I review that I have just utterly despised, someone likes it. And for every video that I liked, somebody didn't. I admit, I'm about to get really sappy here, but this is pretty much the only way I can express myself to you guys. Okay. I didn't make this series to put people down contrary to what many believe. That's why I had that disclaimer at every single one of my videos. But I see these battles as learning experiences. They show that no matter how many times we have messed up on something we're passionate about, we eventually get there and make names of ourselves. They show that even if one idea doesn't work out, you find something else that you can thrive off from rather than trying to salvage something you either weren't or aren't proud of, and it wasn't getting you anywhere. That's why I get so upset when people remove their old battles. Because yeah, they are bad, and they can be very embarrassing, but they also show people where we started off from and how far we have gotten ever since, on how we never gave up on what we wanted to do, whether it's being a rapper, a musician, a songwriter, actor, voice actor, animator, editor, sound mixer, or a YouTuber. Some people use these failures to become something better. Some people take advantage of that failure and earn that fame without actually doing any work. And some straight up don't learn at all from their mistakes and end up making complete idiots out of themselves, killing any chance they could have had because everyone will see them as a laughingstock. Some people think they are incapable of doing certain things in life, not because they legitimately can't, but because they don't think they can. I want you guys to look at whatever old battles you made back in the day. The ones that you always felt regretful making. And don't be upset that you didn't do them well. Be glad that you made them at all. Because the worst thing you can do when you feel like you can't create something is to not even try making it and see what the results are. And in some ways, I actually am proud of what I made back then. I am proud that I have created something that people enjoyed at the time. And even if I didn't continue this series on, it led to me finding an alternative that has been working for 2 years now, thanks to all of you guys out there. And that is why I will never, ever get rid of these videos. They will always be on my channel and will always be viewable to everyone. We've all did and said some bad things in life. Things that will always be in the back of our minds for a very long time. Some will take that as a sign and just give up on their dreams entirely, while others will like to move on from them and not having to worry about it anymore. And I think it's about time that I close this chapter of my life. Not to destroy it in any way, or remove it off the site in disgrace, but to give it a proper burial so it can rest in peace. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. And that's it. It's all done now. But there's one more thing I would like to talk about before we close off this video. Let's get back into the room. Okay. No, you know what? Forget the script. Forget reading what I wrote down. I want to talk to you guys as me and me only. These last 2 years have been quite a journey. Really, it all just started when I, wanted to. And I'm being honest when I say this. The only reason why this series started was, when Rap Ranter was on a little bit of a hiatus. Back then, I just thought it would fill in the void. So people were missing out on all those months. But obviously he came back at that time, so I was a little late to the party, but I wanted to release it anyway. And it really was meant to be a one-off thing. I was not expecting it to become a full-on series of sorts, but somehow it did. Like, the amount of people watching each review every time one gets uploaded it's ridiculous. Because back then, I only got 100 to 70 views for another Vine compilation and shit, and something that nobody cares about, stupid tiny skits and stuff. To see me going from that to having so many people watch these reviews every time, granted, it's not big numbers, My rap battles obviously have got more than that, and Rap Ranter gets 10,000 for each video, but for a guy like me, that's still I was not expecting it at all. I really want to say thank you guys for sticking around this long. To see me make all the stupid jokes I've made back. Looking back at them, we've had our ups and downs, the ups being the crossover and my review of the Netflix Death Note movie, which, by the way, I am trying to make sure I find some ways to get it on my channel, because the drive thing is just not gonna work out. But we had those ups, and of course we had some downs. Some jokes didn't land as I thought they would. Got some facts wrong. Didn't really review some of the projects all that well. And of course that mini fun little segment back in 2017, which oh boy, I really should have spent more time on that. But it's nice to see that even after all of those downs that we went. And then that's a crazy thing. All of that stuff, and yet here we are. The 50th review. Most creators that did their own reviews, they usually stop at 2. Sometimes 6, and some only 1 time. And I'm not saying I'm special, I'm just surprised that I've actually managed to get this far when everybody else just seems to have dropped off. I sound a little bit egotistical, am I? Trust me, I really am not trying to say I am better than the Rap Ranter series. Definitely not, nor am I that great at reviewing every so often. But it's really surprising to see that all those ups and downs, all the issues I tend to deal with when making these reviews, we've gotten up to this point. And I have to say thank you to that. However, and I'm sorry that I'm shifting the tone here a bit, when you do a series for this long, making new videos every 1 to 2 weeks and such, and not taking that much of breaks between them, it gets tiresome. Not to say I'm just phoning it in when I'm making these videos. I obviously enjoy them. It's just when you're doing it for that long with that minimal of breaks, it can be exhausting. And that's why I'm sorry that you had to hear this. And that's why I am announcing that review time is going to be on a long hiatus. And when I say long, I really do mean long. Not like 3 months or 4 months or 5 months. Probably not until the next year. And I know you might be upset about it, but it's for the best that I have to take a break as long as this, because if I were to completely overwork myself, I can't imagine how good that would be for me. I'm not saying I will stop making videos altogether. In fact, that's what I'm trying to figure out the most. What content you guys would stick around watching during this break. I know I have a Q&A video to do, and I'll make sure that gets out soon or later. You know me with schedules, but it's also difficult to figure out what the viewers want to see, what you want to make, and what might not. It's difficult to figure out what content the viewers would like to see, what content you enjoy making, and what content is going to steer them away. That's the most difficult part, especially if your channel's dedicated to one subject. It could be very difficult to branch out. But I would like to do that, because when you branch out, you grow an audience, you grow a bigger audience, and will work out at the end. So, yeah, I really don't know what to say other than thanks for sticking with me for this long journey to 50th review. And also, oh shit, I actually forgot to talk about this. We're almost had 900 subscribers. And after that, it's gonna be 1,000. That's, like, holy shit. Do you know how long it took me to get to 50 subscribers when I started my YouTube channel back in 2014? It took me a good year to get to that number. Hell, it was probably even longer. So the fact that we got over 600 subscribers right when I started this review, like, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to celebrate that. Everybody's, how am I supposed to do it? Or whatever. They would make, like, a montage of, celebrating 1,000 subscribers by showing every, funny moment they've done in their entire lifetime. But me, I'm like, holy shit, what am I supposed to do? And that's what I'm gonna figure out when we eventually get to that number. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this 50th review. I'm sorry for the very long wait, but I hope it was worth it. So thank you guys once again. and take care.